Praviksha Punasvayam Tam Krishnam Pratyagatmanam Vande Gopi Manoharam Yasya Prasadadahamadvayatma Vishwam Samastam Mayi Kalpitancha Tan Sarvalokaika Gurum Sadashri Swayam Prakasham Gurumanatosmi Gurunam Charanam Bhojam Pranipatya Nirantaram Tatkripa Dvaita Chinta Kaustubhamarabhe. The text called Tattvanusandhanam is authored by a Mahatma who was not very far away from our time, which could have been just 2 centuries. We are 2 centuries apart from him, considering. And he himself has written a commentary on the work that he has created. The commentary is called as Advaita Chinta Kaustubha. So, in the first chapter of Tattvanusandhanam, which opens up with the Mangalacharan, the prayer of invocation traditionally is seen in almost all works, without an exception. Where it is not seen in words, it is understood that the Mangalacharanam, for example, in Brahma Sutra, Athato Brahmajijnasa is the first sutra to which there doesn't seem to be any prologue of any Mangalacharanam. The tradition explains us that the word Atha also has the same significance as the word Om. And besides that, the very first sutra now tells us that the contemplation is about Brahman, is about Paramatma. Thus, Paramatma is already remembered, the Smaranam is done, and hence the very first sutra itself is considered to be the Mangalacharanam. Now, so Arthataha Mangalacharanam is done. So to do the Mangalacharanam, before we begin any work, especially when it comes to the studying of the scriptures, is essential. And tradition says that the Mangalacharanam should be done in order for the fruitful endeavor and the completion of the work which the person has begun. Because there could be several obstacles, and those obstacles may prevent the completion, the fruitful completion of the studies or of writing or of explaining, because of several factors. And those several factors thus become the obstacle and stand only because of some dushkrutam, some purvakrita papa arrives in that form and becomes an obstacle. So now the teachers of the tradition say that in order to remove those obstacles, which means that the adrishta papa karma, which is now standing over there as an obstacle, can be mitigated through another karma, and that karma also has to be powerful enough to take care of it, and therefore there is this prayer of invocation. It could be done mentally, yet verbally also it is done, because it gives it endorses the fact that even the students who are learning under the tutelage of the teacher also then are able to understand the significance of Mangalacharanam. We find that in Mangalacharanam, about doing the Mangalacharanam, there are these two schools of the Nayayikas. The older school believes that the Mangalacharanam is done so that the Vigna is removed and the work is completed. But the Navya Nayayikas have to say that the person over there has already come with the force to do the work for the studies, etc. Now, just by removing the factors which may prevent it, the force with which he has come is already in, there is a momentum, and that will take care of it. And therefore, according to them, it is only Vigna Nivaranartham. Okay. So though in both the cases, whichever paksha that one may take, whether that of the Prachina Nayayikas or of the Navya Nayayikas, it is still valid, and it says the Mangalacharanam should be done. Now, the teacher has Ishta Devata and Guru Vandana was done, announcing the work that he is doing, seeking their blessings for its completion. Mangalacharana Purvaka Brahma Evam Atma Atmanaha Ekatvam. So this Mangalacharanam, besides offering the prayers and offering the salutations to Devata, Ishta Devata, and the teacher, now he also has accomplished two important things in it. And the first one is to tell us the Pratipadya Vishaya, the subject matter of the text in a capsule, and that is the Ekata, the oneness of Atma and Brahman is what is the subject matter over here. So thus, by telling us what is the subject matter, obviously, it also now says that, the people who are the people who would be interested are mumukshus, because by knowing Brahman, one would be free, liberated. So those who are the seekers of liberation, for whom now liberation is a purushartha, those who have recognized that moksha is a purushartha in their life. So now such mumukshu purushas, mumukshu people will be interested over here. So now he also indicates not only the subject matter, but also for whom this work is constructed. And such people, he also indicates through the Guru Vandana that this devotion to the teacher and devotion to God is an important aspect of spiritual life, because now this becomes the antaranga sadhanam, like the Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam too. So now, what does he say? Satya Jnana Ananda Swarupa Chidatma Maya Sakshi. In the very beginning, the second shloka of Mangalacharanam for Tattvanusandhanam, because those which we chant in the beginning are the first two shlokas of the Tattvanusandhanam, and the next two shlokas which follow, two verses which follow, are the Mangalacharanam for the Tika, Advaita Chintakaustup, for the commentary. So, in the shloka furthermore, the shloka goes, Deho naham shrotravagadikani naham buddhir naham adhyasamulam naham satyananda rupaschidatma maya sakshi krishna eva hamasmi. Now, that naham, which is there in the beginning of the second part of the shloka, has to be associated with the last part of the first line. Okay, first half. पूर्वार्ध के साथ उसकी संगति बिठानी होगी. So it goes deho naham, that aham, I am not the body. Deho naham shrotra vagadikani, that I am not even the karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, or even the pranas. Okay, so shrotra, even indriyas are also called as pranas in some places, and that is justified because you will remember that from the rajoguna amsha of the Panchamahabhutas, the karmendriyas come into existence, and from the samashti rajoguna of all the five Panchamahabhutas collectively become the prana. So shrotravagadikani, so I am neither the organs of perception, nor am I the organs of action, or even the vital force which runs the physiology of the body, the pranas. Naham buddhi, I am not even the antakaranam. By buddhi, buddhi is the upalakshanam for all the four sections of the inner equipment. Upalakshanam means it is an indication. Upalakshanam for everything. Naham buddhi, deho naham shrotravagadikani naham buddhi naham. So that the third naham goes with buddhi. Adhyasamulam naham, I am not even the adhyasa. Adhyasa meaning the erroneous knowledge, and the root cause of the erroneous knowledge, meaning the ignorance. That also I am not. Adhyasamulam naham. Then what are you? Satyananda rupaschidatma. I am Satya Ananda Rupaha Chidatma, meaning I am the Satchidananda Atma. What is that? Maya Sakshi Krishna Eva Hamasmi. I am Maya Sakshi. I am the witness of Maya, which is indicated by the word Krishna, that I am. So Krishna Eva Hamasmi, by that he has now even once again emphasized, reiterated the oneness of Atma and Brahman. So the author has gone into elaboration of explaining this particular shloka, and we will travel as through the pages of the book by touching over the topics that he has brought into light, but in very brief. Now, when it comes to the when the word I is pronounced, obviously it is a word with meaning. It is just not a sound like you humming something or the sound of the fan, etc. It is a proper word, a word construct with a meaning. It means that it has an object corresponding to the word. So what is it that is meant by the word aham, I am? So generally, when we speak the word I, then is presented by the buddhi as I am this body. And therefore, the first vikalpa that comes, the very first option that comes for us to associate the word I is with the body. And that itself is rejected, negated over here. Dehaha naham. Deha means this body. Deha upachaya. The word deha also, the deha means that the collection, heap. So look at the body. It is a heap of bones, muscles, nerves, fats, so on and so forth. So it is a heap of this. So that's why it is called as deha. Not only the body of only a stout person is heap. Everyone's body is a heap only. Heap. So deha, H-E-A-P. Deha naham. So he begins. Aham shabdartha viveka purvakam purvanusandhitam brahmatma tattvam ishta devata vachaka shabdena nirdishya punaha tad anusandhati. Now what is he doing over here through this particular shloka is that he has some, in the earlier shlokas of the Mangalacharanam, which we have seen, now we have straight jumped to the next Mangalacharanam, where, I mean, the shloka of the Mangalacharanam, where he already has done this work of explaining the word aham somewhere. So aham shabdartha viveka purvakam purvanusandhitam. Now this word aham is filtered through a proper course of discrimination. Viveka purvakam. It is not just accepted as it comes, but that what, because there is a chance of misunderstanding, error in understanding, in the knowledge of that word. So therefore, viveka purvakam purvanusandhitam. It has been already been said in the earlier part, and that itself now purvanusandhitam, and that what is purvanusandhitam? Brahmatma tattvam. So also that brahmatma tattvam, the principle called as Brahma, and the oneness of Brahman and Atma is purvanusandhitam, and ishta devata shabdena nirdishya. And how is this Brahmanu tattvam presented over here? Through the word, which also has the meaning of ishta devata, Krishna, Shri Krishna, ishta devata vachaka shabdena nirdishya punastad anusandhati. And then he begins the contemplation over here. Deho naham. Now, what would be the problem in accepting the meaning of the word just as this body, because it comes to most of the people? Are they not saying aham deha? People may not say I am the body, but do we don't say I'm a man, I'm a woman, this is my age, this is my birth date, and sure enough I'm going to perish on some date in some year. Okay, so it is that ahamasmi is not a knowledge which is unknown. It is not something concealed, it is not unknown. Because ahamasmi is swayam prakasha, is already known. But now in this knowledge, in the knowledge that aham has got the meaning that it is body, and therefore though it is knowledge, but it is erroneous knowledge. Okay. For example, when he says, that person who sees the snake says, this is the snake. And then when the lights are switched on, he says, this is a rope. So this is common in both the knowledges. Correct? This is common in both the knowledges. This is a snake, This is a rope. So now whatever that object is, this is, and that this is does not change. Whatever that object is was understood. It is there. So it is a fact. It is a fact. It is not a belief or it is not an error. It is. So, and this is now is understood as snake. So what is the erroneous part in the sentence? Only the snake. This is not erroneous. To understand this as snake is the error. Similarly, ahamasmi is the knowledge, which is not erroneous. But aham dehaha, aham karta, aham bhokta, ityadi, all these things, this is the erroneous part. Okay? And so now the very first meaning which one comes across when the word aham is spoken, since is the body, now that is taken for discussion. Aham shabdha, where is that? Deho naham. If it is understood as Atma, what is wrong? Atmatve, what would happen? He says, Kritahani akritabhyagamaha. This is the dosha. This is going to be the defect. Now, everybody over here is experiencing joys and sorrows. Okay? You need not go into past life or future life, but over here, that whatever is being experienced is also understood as the result of one's own actions. Correct? So we now understand that action is able to create some result. Action has its consequence. Action will have its consequence. We say karma phala. Karma and the karma phala. So the karma phala along with karma is also called as karma. So that karma is being experienced. But now, a person is born and seemingly that the child is having fever or has something which is, or enjoys being in the mother's lap. Now over here, in the experience of sukha and dukkha is already there, and you are going to say, well, the child has not done any action, and therefore, if he is still experiencing joys and sorrows, that means the joy and sorrow they experience is random or accidental. If it is accidental, then there will be no meaning to the actions that you are doing now. Correct? Because whatever actions that you are doing is only with the motive that let me expand my peace and joy, and let me contract or let me eradicate dukkham. But if you are going to say that sukham and dukkham is erratic, random, accidental, then your whole life will become meaningless, or the course of actions that you are doing will become meaningless. Why should you do? Because there is no guarantee that whatever you may do is going to be for sukham, is going to bring you sukham as the consequence, or dukkham as the consequence, or eradication of dukkham as the consequence. Because unpredictable, you may become sukhi, you may become dukkhi. But each one of us does this with the understanding that the action bears the consequence in terms of sukham and dukkham. So even if there is sukham and dukkham apparently, even for an infant who's newly born, then you will that we are forced to understand that there is some action which was there before, whose consequences sukham and dukkham now. Okay. So now the child is in the mother's lap and is very happy. And then the mother has some work, so she leaves the child on the floor, and the floor is cold and it gives him shivers, and he feels, oh, the dukkham. So now this Sukham and Dukkham is there because there was an action whose result is this now. This is an example, okay? So if we, but then before that, the child's body was not there, this body was not there, and therefore we are now forced by the logic to accept that even if whether there was this body or not this body, the person, that individual was there in some other body whose actions now are bringing the same individual the result of Sukham and Dukkham, consequence. So that means now we are forced to say that our actions will, actions are there whose results are also experienced in whichever body, but those are the actions belonging to that individual. And if you say that that individual is this body, then this body was not there before, and yet if the action was there, then how? So if you consider only this body as the meaning of aham, then akritabhyagamaha, then whatever he is experiencing is because it is something random. There is no cause. It is random. But we know for sure that there is nothing random. There is nothing random. Everything has a cause, has a cause. And therefore, if you consider only the body as the meaning of word I, then there will be the defect called as akritabhyagama. He experiencing joys and sorrows or as a consequence of actions that he has never done. Aise nahi hota. And now the actions that he is going to do are also going to be futile, and that means kritahani. So kritahani, akritabhyagama, dosha will come. And this is not acceptable to anyone. You are doing the action only with the motive that this action is going to eradicate, remove the dukkham, or this action is going to give me some pleasure, some sukham. So now, by the very virtue of your own motive over here, you have recognized action as the cause of experiencing sukham and dukkham as its consequence, correct? Then sukham and dukkham, whichever sukham and dukkham is being experienced, is the consequence of earlier actions. If you consider only body as the individual, then this body was not there before it was born, but the individual definitely was there, and whose consequences, whose actions are bringing this consequence of sukham and dukkham now. So akrita abhyagama will take place, or kritahani dosha will take place. But sir, how can you say that? Because is it not our experience, and it is experience of almost all people, that aham dehaha, I am this body. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm this old, I'm this young, whatever you may choose to say. So everybody is saying aham. The meaning of aham is what? Deha. And it is anubhava. So, and it is acceptable by all. And you come over here and talk something like this, not what do you mean by that? So we are going to say deho ham iti anubhavasya. This anubhava, just because it is an experience, does not mean that it has to be correct. It is right. It is a fact. No. Anubhava hai. It is an experience. But when does an experience gain the status of being a valid experience? And when does an experience become an invalid experience or erroneous experience? Because even you experiencing the snake is also your experience. And you experiencing the same object as rope is also your experience. So though both of them are experiences, yet you are going to say one experience is valid, whereas the other experience is invalid. And invalid means erroneous experience. Therefore, just don't keep on singing that song because it is my experience, it has to be a fact or it is right. No, sir. It can be your experience, we are not denying it. Just because it is experience does not mean it is valid. It is a fact. That's why we have these two words, yathartha anubhavaha and ayathartha anubhavaha. Yathartha means artha is that object. Yatha artha, just as what that object is, when that object is experienced as that object, it is going to be yathartha. And what is ayathartha? Yatha artha nasti tatha yada anubhuyate tada ayathartha anubhavaha iti. This is what it will be called. Kathyate. Got it? So now let that thing also get out of the head that because it is experience, it is right. No, sir. Experience does not make it right. Whether it is valid or invalid is determined by other factors. So therefore, he says, Dehoham iti anubhavasya. So also, though you are presently experiencing aham dehaha, I am this body. And then because I'm fair, I'm tall, I'm robust, then it becomes, I'm proud, I'm this body. And such people who have this kind of a thing, then deha tadatmya, and very, very strong deha tadatmya. Then when, as he advances in age, then he discovers that the body is slowly losing its vitality. And that time, the person becomes disappointed. And that's why late adulthood for a lot of people is scary. Nairashya aata hai, there is a disappointment. One of the reasons is this. There is a disappointment. And that disappointment is because dehoham, and that by deha he understands I'm robust and big and strong and going. No, sir. Iti anubhavasya brahmatvena, because it can be seen, it is possible to understand that dehoham, this experience, is what? Brahmaha, is an error, is an erroneous experience. And therefore, brahmatvena tasya atmatva sadhakatvat, that's the reason why this experience, dehaha aham, fails to establish that this is the meaning of word I. Asadhakatvat, atmatva asadhakatvat, dehatiriktasya atmanaha. So also now the pramanas, other pramanas are also coming forth to say, dehatiriktasya atmatvam, kasya atmatvam. So something that is other than this body is now going to be seen, is proclaimed, is shown by the Shruti Smritis, etc., and also through the what do they call? अनुमान को हम क्या बोलते हैं?
युक्ति. युक्ति स्वामी.
अरे इंग्लिश में
Inference.
हाँ, inferentially.
Inference.
हाँ, so through this inference also, it is established dehatiriktasya atmatvam. And this, because it is pramana siddham, now the experience that aham dehaha is apalapa yogyatvam vartate. What happens? That this can be negated, and therefore naham dehaha, that is done. Tasya apalapa yogat. अनुभव श्रुति स्मृति देहातिरिक्तस्यात्मनः श्रुति स्मृति युक्ति अनुभव सिद्धत्वेन. So now Shruti, Smriti and Yukti. What are these three? Shruti and Smriti is Shabda Pramanam. Yukti is inference. Anumana Pramanam. And Anubhava over here means Pratyaksha Siddham. Because of this, that erroneous experience knowledge, Deha Aham is what happens? Apalapa Yoga. It is because it is negated by the Pramanas. Okay? Unanimously. So, dehaha naham. What is the second part? Then, indriyani natma. Even the indriyas is also is not the atma. But sir, do we don't say mukoham, badhiroham? Obviously, mukoham, badhiroham. I am deaf, I am what do they call it? Mute. And so on and so forth. I am blind. I can't walk. I can't work. I can't work is not that lazy person, but then it is all talking about the indriyas, because these are the functions of the indriyas. To speak is the function of vagindriya. To see colors and forms is the function of the chakshurindriya. So why can't I be the chakshurindriya? Because I don't say I can see or I cannot see. I can hear, I cannot hear. I can walk, I cannot walk. Are these not the functions? Walking, talking, seeing, listening, touching. These are the functions of the indriyas, jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. So by that I am seeing. One says that aham, I am chakshurindriya. I am hearing. By that one does not say that I am the shrotrendriya, etc. So I am this in indriyas and the sanghata of the indriyas. What am I? The complex of all these indriyas. And over here, the teacher, it says, Shrotra Vagadikani Naham. I am not even these indriyas. Okay? Though it is your anubhava. Again the same thing. That let it be an anubhava. Does not matter. But if that anubhava is brahmasiddham, tasya apalapa is possible. Now he gives you one nice example. He says, Karanatvena vasyadivat indriyanam atmatva ayogat. One logic that he has presented is that Karanatvena. Say, suppose if the eyes are not there, are you not will you still not be there? That famous story of the king of Chittor, Prithviraj Chauhan, Maharana, नहीं, राणा प्रताप के पृथ्वीराज की कहानी है, मेवाड़ के. He was blinded. He could not see. But whether I become blind or I am blinded, but I am still there, which means in presence or in the absence of the Indriyas, I am there. And therefore, this I is definitely different from every Indriya or even the assembly of Indriyas. Okay? Besides this, Karanatvena Vasyadivat. These Indriyas are the Karanas, are the instruments. So what is it that you see the colors and forms with? Chakshurindriya. What is it that you are able to hold the function of listening to the words, sounds? It is through the Shrotrendriya. So now Shrotrendriya is like an instrument. Let us say you have a microscope. So what are you able to see? The very tiny things through, because of microscope. Microscope is the instrument without which you will not be able to see something that is so small, so tiny. Okay, like that, it is the Indriyas are the instruments. Indriyas are the instruments, like Vasyadiva. The carpenter has got this Vasya. Vasya means that, some instrument of the carpenter with which he
chisel.
वासा पता है ना, वासा वासा
Randha.
रंधा, that is Vasya. So Vasyadivat.
It's a saw, Swamiji?
No.
Yeah. Vasyadivat. Indriyanam Atmatva Ayoga. The Karanas are definitely different from the user. Is not it? The Karanas are different from the carpenter. Like that, these Indriyas are the Karanas, and they are different from this I. Karanatvena. Why, sir? Karana kartrutvayoho viruddhatvat. The Karanas don't have kartrutvam. Karanas are only the instrument of action or the function, some function, whichever function, whether it is a function of perception or function of walking, talking, etc., excreting, urinating, reproduction, all these functions. The karmendriyas, jnanendriyas. Okay, so the indriyas don't have kartrutvam. The kartrutvam will rest in the I am the karta, you are saying, and that's why you are employing these karanas for the particular functions that have to be performed. And therefore, karana kartrutvayoho viruddhatvat indriyanam na atmatvam. One more reason that he gives the karanas can't be called as the atma is because bahunam indriyanam atmatve viddhabhiprayataya sharirapata prasanga. Because the indriyas are many, and if you are going, and the experience of I is I am one. Oh well, even the car is also one. Car is an assembly of all the instruments, all its parts. Is not it? So also this I is, why can't we consider this I, the self, as an assembly of all these indriyas, a collection, sanghat? Why can't we call that? So he says, because if the indriyas are many, the I will also be divided as many, and viddhabhiprayataya, each Indriya will want to run in its own direction towards its own field. And therefore, if this happens, the whole Sharira will fall, will die, because Vidhabhiprayataya, each one is going, so no, sir, which one will work when the Kartrutvam is with the Chetana Purusha, and therefore this Chetana Vastu is definitely other than the Sanghata. Sanghata is used by the master, by the owner. Car is an assembly. Car doesn't exist for itself. Car is for the owner, driver, whatsoever. So, bahunam indriyanam atmatve viddhapiprayataya sharira pata prasanga. Therefore, naham, atma is not even indriyas, indriyani na atma. Well, sir, these indriyas may not be considered to be the atma, but the pranas, the vital energy which keeps these indriyas also functioning, the physiological functions of the body are also conducted by that vital energy. So let us call this vital energy the prana as atma, because they experience the function of the prana is kshut pipasa, hunger and thirst. Kshut pipasa. So we don't say, I am hungry, I am thirsty. So I means then this prana only. Iti anubhava darshanat, I am hungry, I am thirsty. We say no. Tasya vayu vikaratvad. This prana is only what? The energy, etc. is what? Vayu vikara. It is only a modification of the vayu. Of vayu. Drishyatvat. So also this is, the pranas are also drishya. Drishya meaning which is seen, and therefore the seer is different from the pranas too. Naham buddhi astu tarhi vijnanatma. Vijnanam atma. Astu tarhi vijnanam atma. This vijnanam means the cognition. Let us call this cognition as atma. So we are going to say not even the cognition or many cognitions together cannot be called as atma. But why are you saying the cognition is atma? Because the cognition is, the basic cognition is that aham asmi and aham karta, aham bhokta iti. Therefore, we are going to say no, tathacha aham antakaranam, no tathacha aham antakaranam, tad vrittischa ubhayam na bhavami, whether one cognition or the collection of all the cognitions. Na bhavami. Why? Bhautikattvena jadatvat sushuptav layadarshanat. So even when this antakaranam, etc. is also not there, I remain as the illuminator of the absence of these manabuddhi, etc. Where have you ever seen the absence of mind, etc.? Oh, no, Swamiji, that must be a state of meditation. Only in Sushupti. In Sushupti, the Ahankara is not there. Aham karta, aham bhokta, even this Abhimana is not there. No cognitions are there, and therefore absence of these cognitions itself proves I am something other than the cognition or the collection of cognitions. Bhautikattvena jadatvat sushuptav layadarshana. Now, everywhere, whatever logic that he has presented, for what? For negation is very important, and these are the points that you will have to remember. All right, I think we are done. Bhautikattvena sushuktau, bhautikattvena jadatvat, sushuktau layadarshanaat, adhyasamulam naham. So that adhyasamulam is in the first half of the verse, and the naham, which is going to be with adhyasamulam, is in the later half, the first part of the later half. Otherwise, if you associate that naham with everything else, aham naham satyananda rupa chidatma, I am not a satyananda rupa chidatma, then what? Aham sakshi Krishna Baba, you will create a confusion. So that's why one should know what is where. Adhyasamulam naham. What is adhyasamulam? This adhyasamulam means Anandamaya Shabdavacham Ajnanam. That what is indicated by the words Anandamaya Kosha and Ajnanam is Adhyasamulam. So this word Adhyasamulam is consisting of two parts, Adhyasa and Moolam. Moolam we all understand. Moolam means the root. Root, the cause. Moolam means the cause. So cause of adhyasa is also not me. Okay. Because when you wake up from Sushupti, you are going to say that this aham I was not there. So what is there? That I am is just this absence of everything. Sir, that is not what is meant. No. Absence of everything. Nothing is known there. Nothing is known. So not knowing is what? Ignorance. That ignorance is not what is the meaning of word I. So adhyasamulam tad aham na bhavami. Why, sir? Because this adhyasa means viparyayaha mithyaśyanam atasmin tad buddhi. Adhyasa in short, because furthermore when we go, we will have discussion on this. What is adhyasa? He has given you three words to understand adhyasa. What is it? Viparyayaha. Viparita jnanam is adhyasa. It is a rope. Is rope and the snake one and the same? Are they synonyms? No. So they are viruddha dharma krantatvad, because a snake is something that is different, that what is definitely not rope. Rope will have sarpa bheda. Sarpa will have rajju bheda. Where rajju bheda is there, rajjutva cannot be there. Where sarpa bheda is there, sarpatva cannot be there, and that's why they're opposites. Got that idea?
Yes, Swamiji.
Yes, Swamiji.
Chakresh,
जी स्वामी जी,
ये बात पकड़ में आ रही है ना?
बिल्कुल जी।
जहां रज्जु भेद होगा वहां रज्जुत्व नहीं होगा। समझे नहीं ना?
जी
समझा दे थोड़ा इसको, क्योंकि समय तो पूरा हो चुका है। अगर नहीं पकड़ में आया है तो अभी बता दो।
आ गया स्वामी जी।
ठीक है। ये भेद और रज्जु भेद और रज्जुत्व, ये समझ में आ रहा है?
जी
रज्जु
स्वामी जी,
भेद का
तत्वानुसंधान की क्लास में ये हमने एक बार डिस्कस किया था।
किया है ना?
जी
जैसे गो भेद कहाँ होगा?
अश्व में।
अश्व में।
अश्व में। अश्व में गोत्व रहेगा क्या?
नहीं,
नहीं।
तो गो भेद कहाँ होगा?
अश्व में।
अश्व में।
गो भेद वहीं रहेगा जहां गोत्व नहीं है,
गोत्र नहीं
हाँ
है।
हाँ, जहाँ गोत्र।
है ना? गो भेद कहाँ रहेगा?
इन एब्सेंस ऑफ गोत्व।
जहां गोत्व नहीं है।
हाँ।
ठीक है। रज्जु भेद कहाँ रहेगा?
जहाँ रज्जु नहीं।
यहाँ रज्जु नहीं।
जहां रज्जुत्व नहीं है। रज्जुत्व कहाँ नहीं है?
सर्प में।
सर्प में।
सर्प में रज्जुत्व नहीं है, और सर्प में क्या है?
सर्पत्व,
रज्जु भेद।
रज्जु भेद।
ठीक है। तो इसीलिए जहां रज्जुत्व ही नहीं है, उस वस्तु को तुम रज्जु बोल सकते हो क्या?
नहीं। नहीं।
तो हाँ, तो जहां सर्पत्व नहीं है उसको तुम सर्प बोल सकते हो क्या?
नहीं।
नहीं बोल
नहीं।
सकते,
नहीं स्वामी।
क्योंकि सर्पत्व नहीं है उस वस्तु को तुम सर्प नहीं बोल सकते हो। ठीक है ना? रज्जु में सर्पत्व है?
नहीं है।
रज्जु में सर्प भेद है?
है।
है।
यस स्वामी।
है। अच्छा, फिर उसी वस्तु को जहां सर्पत्व नहीं है और सर्प भेद है, उस वस्तु को ही तुम सर्प बोल रहे हो, विरुद्ध बोल रहे हो ना?
जी
विरुद्ध भावना कर रहे हो, इसीलिए ये विपर्यय है। इसी को विपर्यय कहते हैं। अध्यास का एक अर्थ क्या है?
विपर्य।
विपर्यय। अच्छा, विपर्यय मतलब मिथ्या ज्ञानम। मिथ्या ज्ञानम। ठीक है।
हाँ।
जी स्वामी।
और एक डेफिनेशन इसकी ये है, अतस्मिन् तद्बुद्धि ही।
तस्मिन् तत्।
अध्यास का अर्थ क्या बना? अतस्मिन् तद्बुद्धि ही। रज्जु जो है वो सर्प नहीं है। ठीक है।
हाँ।
तो अतस्मिन् हो गई रज्जु। रस्सी जो है अतद हो गई। अतस्मिन्
हाँ,
नहीं,
हो गई।
अतद है मतलब सर्प नहीं
जी।
है। रज्जु में ही तुम सर्प बुद्धि कर लेना, ये क्या हो गई? जो अतत, जो सर्प नहीं है उसी में सर्प बुद्धि हो गई।
हाँ।
सो अध्यास का अर्थ क्या है? अतस्मिन् तद्बुद्धि ही। ठीक है। तीनों शब्द
जी
समझ में आए? विपर्यय, मिथ्या ज्ञानम और अतस्मिन् तद्बुद्धि। इन तीनों शब्दों का अर्थ क्या निकलता है? अध्यास।
अध्यास।
The moolam, the cause of this adhyasa is ignorance. Okay? Tad aham na bhavami, ajnanam adhyasa moolam na bhavami. Kyun bhai? I say, why are you saying this? Because that ignorance is something which can be negated, removed, eradicated by knowledge. True?
Yes, Swami.
Yes.
Eradicated by knowledge. But will this aham be eradicated by knowledge?
No.
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 That's why to say that I am this ignorance, this sushupti mein kuch nahi hota, सारा absence, वही ignorance I am, ये बोलना गलत है. क्यों? क्योंकि that ignorance can be removed through knowledge, and therefore how is
Knowledge.
ignorance? Jnana nivartya.
Tattvam.
Ignorance is jnana nivartya, is jada. And in the state of samadhi, ignorance is apratiyaman, is not experienced at all. Okay?
जी स्वामी जी.
The common thing between sushupti and samadhi is that in sushupti also, man, buddhi, indriyas, objects of these indriyas, nothing is seen. Correct?
Yes, Swamiji.
Yes, Swamiji.
But there is ignorance which rules. In samadhi also, this man, buddhi, indriya, ego, nothing is seen. But ignorance is not there. Awareness remains. And therefore, ajnanam is not there in sushupta, what do they call this? Is not there in samadhi. Okay, but samadhi is not equivalent to knowledge.
भैया चाबी चाहिए रूम की.
Is not equivalent to knowledge. So therefore, why am I not this adhyasa moolam? 3 reasons. Can anybody just enumerate those 3 reasons? Let me see कितने लोगों को याद रहा.
Yes, Miss. Yes, Swamiji.
बताओ.
Adhyasa moolam karanam pragyanam. So it is jnana nivartyam. And it is jada, and it is samadho apratiya.
ठीक है. Therefore, what are the 3 reasons? Jnana nivartyatvat, jadatvat, samadho apratiyamanatvat, ajyoham iti anubhavasya bhrantitvat. And the more important thing is that aham ajnaha, I did not know anything, I don't know anything. This kind of this is the bhranti anubhava. How is this anubhava? Jo anubhava, though it is an experience, yet what is it valid? I am ignorance or I am ignorant. Both of these are what? Bhranti janya anubhavaha or bhranta anubhavaha. Okay? So then what exactly is this Atma, whose experience is framed in the words, I am Brahman? What is this Atma? So now this is what is said over here. So so that for this Mangalacharanam, etc., is also presenting the entire subject matter in nutshell, and this itself will be expanded over all the pages further. So we are at this Mangalacharanam, and then next topic which comes is going to be that moksha is jnanadhinam. Okay? Moksha is jnanadhinam means
dependent.
Controlled.
Controlled by.
control, dependent, all these are the implications of that word. Is by what? Kasya adhinam moksha? Kasya adhinam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jnana.
Jnanadhinam. Jnanadhina moksha. Jnanadhino moksha. So this is going to be the next topic, but we will still go into this a little bit tomorrow, and then Jnanadhino Mokshaha, this topic we will see. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakrito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om. Thank you all.